not going to bother introducing myself because I think everybody in the room knows me. If you don't, I'm Chris. Type my name into Google and I'll do a much better introduction than I ever could. So I want to talk a little bit about student-led content because I've been doing quite a lot of pedagogic work in the last couple of years on using student-led content, student-created media as a way of strengthening a learning community and building a sense of community. So what is student-led content? Basically any content that's driven by student interest. So not necessarily just made by students, but ones where students have driven the focus, led the production, led the design, and asked the questions. A while ago, this is going back to some work I did about 6 years ago now. I got asked how you can kind of use media, digital tools in a way that makes sense, the way that kind of addresses specific interventions. And myself and a few colleagues, we came up with this kind of general idea of two kind of spans of topic that you might use digital media for, which is engagement and awareness. So engagement is stuff where you're actually trying to draw you in, where you're inviting contribution. Awareness where you are basically trying to deliver a message in a slightly different way. And we came up with this kind of framework of various different kind of video or media-based tools that you can use and how that can address these challenges. This is relatively old work. Since I've been at Lincoln, I've been trying to build in a few different ways of delivering a message. Ultimately, I think as somebody said earlier, you can generally only hit 80%. There's always a level of disengaged students who are going to fall off your radar, and there's always a level of super engaged students that no matter what you do, they will be there. If I send out an email saying, can I have a sign up for whatever mad idea I've got for the week, I can always tell you which students are going to reply to that email before I send it out, because that's kind of how things tend to work. So what I've been trying to do is experiment with different channels of communication to pick up either the disengaged students or give the super engaged students, the over-engaged students, too engaged, students a different way of kind of expanding what they're doing. One thing that we did, live streams. So for those of you who aren't aware of live streams, it's or at least Twitch streaming. It's where you play a video game online and you invite people to come watch you. For the life of me, I've never really understood the appeal. It seems far too much like watching somebody else have fun. But I don't really need to understand. About 18 months ago now, when it got round that we were revalidating our programs, I had quite a lot of emails in my inbox saying, what does this mean? What does it mean for our degrees? Can we know more? And I just asked, how do you want to actually receive that information? And actually, surprisingly, I got quite a few people saying, can you just stream it? Can you record it, stream it, we can watch it later, we can tune in if we want. I actually had to do some Googling as to what Twitch streaming was. It's not something I'd ever really encountered. So I had two students teach me how to do this, two students who were currently Twitch streamers. And this is kind of what it looks like. You play in a video game, that's the center screen, and you have a camera on your face, and just off to the side that is included, there's usually a chat window where people are dropping questions as you're going. Why streaming? Well, I generally try and take an attitude of teach them where they are, not where you want them to be. We could create some sort of special forum or whatever in Blackboard, but why would you be on Blackboard other for doing something specific? It's like if I really want to rally the troops, if I want to create some sort of revolution, I'm going to go out to the pub, I'm going to go and find where people are. And the reality is, a huge majority of students are going on Twitch streams. It is the most popular form of entertainment media, of the demographic that we're largely talking about. So, go to where they are, what way they want them to be. It's informal. Play is inherently humanising. There is nothing more humanising than watching somebody in a position of power doing something particularly badly. The reality is, despite the fact that I teach games, I can't play them to save my life. And there's something quite nice about students to be able to see me in a level of vulnerability. It makes conversation just a little bit easier. Video games are inherently entertaining. They're designed to be visually entertaining. So we have these, if anybody's ever seen one of my streams, these bursts of questions. There'll be 15 minutes where we can't really keep up with what's being asked. And then everyone's got their questions out of the way. And then there's these lulls in activity. The game keeps people entertained. It gives them something to watch between those breaks in play. It holds the attention, it holds engagement. And actually look at the statistics for this, the vast majority of students who tune in watch the entire stream all the way through. So when we're going for 3 hours, when we look at the statistics at the end, average viewing is about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So it holds engagement. It's video based, so it's replayable and accessible. Students don't necessarily have to tune in. I get some people asking me questions via Twitter. I answer on the stream, and I'll tell them while in the video they can find their answer. And like I say, it's one of the world's most entertaining, popular entertainment media formats. And this is...
Richard, I've had a question coming via a different route. When looking at jobs, how do game jam projects compare to personal long-standing projects that you're working on? Is there any difference?
They showcase different techniques.
This is a bit loud. One of the streamers was coming from industry. They were actually one of the developers of the game that we were playing. So it had this kind of meta engagement. We were talking about how the game was built. And students were coming and asking questions about the game industry, and we were answering them live while we were playing the game from the person who developed it. It's quite nice. I've presented this work at a few places now, and the question I get asked most often, why bother with the game? Generally speaking, for some bizarre reason, it's nursing departments that are really interested in this. I don't know what the specific interest in there. They say, why don't we do this where we just sit with a panel and talk? I've said, for the best will in the world, I don't think anybody wants to sit and watch my face for 3 hours. The game gives you something else. But it's not about the game, it's not actually about playing a game, it's not for games for computing students. We do this for all of computer science. The game is just a visual media. It's kind of a vehicle to deliver something via. It's just something to hold. It's a hook that we capture everything else in. I'll be talking a little bit more about hooks in a second. Live streaming is live, it's public. So we do this and anybody can drop into the stream. I have a sinking suspicion that members of the university senior management have dropped in on this, at least based on usernames that popped up halfway through. We also have people's grandmothers watch, and people's parents watch. My initial worry was, what happens if somebody says something on the chat that they shouldn't be? It's anonymous, and we all know how anonymous platforms go. They tend to get used creatively. But actually, we haven't had any problems at all. But we have used moderators fairly proactively, and we've made those moderators students. Largely because they know what's kind of acceptable within their community behind. They know how that platform works, and when there's lulls in conversation, they're very good at kind of spurring things on, asking questions, kind of emceeing the event. The community is a lot bigger than the streamers. So we always have 4 colleagues that jump in on these streams, talk through everything, answer the questions that are coming in. But the community that we get involved is a lot wider than that. We get a lot of alumni jumping in just on the chat. What's really interesting is when a question gets asked, often we'll have 3 or 4 alumni jumping on the conversation and answer it long before we've ever even seen it, which is really nice. It's also given alumni a kind of cute way of getting back involved with us. And they are quite keen to. We've been a major part of their life for 3 years, and it's the easiest thing in the world for them to say, oh, Headleand's online, I'll watch that. And it's been a nice way for them to engage. Live broadcast, we're trying not to worry. We haven't really had any problems yet with misuse, again, that anonymous thing coming through. We're always aware of it, we're always aware that it could happen, which is why we engage moderators. But generally speaking, we've been found by people who aren't university-linked students. We've been dropped in by students from the US, and that's possibly looking like that's been sent to a project. We've had family members, we've had prospective students come and watch our streams. And we're now starting to promote these to applicants and people from colleges as well. We did a stream that was advertised to a load of Welsh colleges recently. And never mind the lurkers. So on the stream, I reckon about 50% of the people actually watching will engage with you in the chat. A lot of people just sit in the background and just have it playing. When I was at university, I had a load of downloaded Blackadder episodes. I would just have Blackadder playing while I was doing my work. More and more I'm getting told that students are turning on streams and that's their background noise while they're working away. going home and working, it's the easiest thing for them to flick to my screen as opposed to whatever they happen to be watching. They may not be actively asking questions, but they're still benefiting from the answers that other people are getting. So it's still a really good way of us delivering information. And what about the impact? Impressive alumni engagement. So we've had a lot of games alumni, especially alumni who are working in the game sector, come back and watch the streams. When surveyed, every student rated the engagement really highly, whilst praising the accessibility of the content and the community ethos. It is all about having a conversation, having a different channel, and a larger community conversation channel that is more informed, that promotes discussion. Answer streams support our employability agenda, specifically around things like placements. So we've done streams that have been purposely arranged around placements and with the placement office on the stream. And we've had quite big engagement from that. Hacks and jams. So this is something that I don't do, but I think this is something that's really important to talk about. In the computer science, largely run by societies, we do a whole host of hacks and jams. The students have taken it upon themselves to record, edit, deliver those, memories of those experiences. This is some of the most viewed content that we have. This is some of the most interesting content we have. Because largely when we came to things like open days, this is the things that people wanted to watch. Why? Because again, it's showing the community ethos around the school. And we've got students who don't engage in hacks and jams because they don't know what they're on. They're unusual, they're strange, you're locked in a room with a bunch of village people over a weekend. Actually be able to see what it looks like, usually kind of a sample, a taste, before actually even dig in. So again, digital media, videos used as a really easy way to enhance community ethos. No responsibility for that at all. Nothing to do with me whatsoever. But I'm encouraging of it. As much as I can, I say this is a fantastic thing to do. Because going through that video, that has been filmed, edited, delivered by students. What's really interesting to see, the vast majority of it is about people working together. That's a really fantastic message to push out. I want to talk quickly about Star and VR. This is a project I ran last year. We had a load of feedback from students that basically they didn't know what the university looked like beyond their own department. They knew who their lecturers were, didn't really know who anybody else was. And the reality is their learning community is so important to that. I would say it's like having a credits reel for a lecture. Whenever you walk into a lecture, well, who's allowed that to happen? We've got the digital education team who prepared things like Blackboard, the delivery systems. We've got the AV team who are actually allowing this to work. There's so many people involved in the institution who have a massive, massive impact on student experience that the students couldn't pick out of the line. Which is kind of problematic because we spend a lot of time, and obviously in the NSS, we ask questions about learning community, learning engagement. We actually don't know who these people are. It's tricky. We have the staff pages, we have posters up, but honestly, I've been here 4 years, I use the staff page on to find somebody's phone number, and don't just mindlessly wander through it. So, Star and VR, we tried to use a bit of our research tools to create kind of a vehicle, again a book, to deliver a message. We didn't think people were going to watch a whole load of interviews with staff about what they're doing, what their jobs were, because honestly, who would ever want to watch that? So we thought, well, why don't we put some of my colleagues in embarrassing situations, film that, and use that as a book to deliver actual useful message. And that's how Star and VR started. So what we have is a simulated Porsche, which was season 1, and we get staff members to drive a lap around a virtual track on a motion simulator. It's all articulated, it's quite cool, it's quite interesting, but ultimately you get to watch people again in positions of power doing something that they are not inherently good at. Every episode is student-led, so we survey students on who they wanted to be interviewed on these, what kind of topics they wanted to be asked about, and students led the questioning, filmed the episodes, members of Tom's team, and students did the interviewing themselves as well. And largely the staff were there just to support that engagement.
You're welcome. Hi, so yeah, I'm Grace and I'm the Vice President Welfare and Community at Lincoln Students' Union.
Okay, so what does your job entail then?
Ultimately, it would result in, if it'll skip ahead. On our motion simulator, which ultimately this is the kind of stuff we were doing for our research anyway. So it had kind of a secondary benefit as well. It was a really good way of promoting what we were doing, actually showing some of the kit that exists in the department. But actually, they're using the rates at the end. Again, when we look at the YouTube statistics, you see people watching through the interview to get to largely at the end. And we kept a leaderboard of this and so on and so forth, and we had really good engagement with this. One of the big success stories is with our placements officer. He did our first episode. The year before, we had about 5 people individually requesting sessions supporting on placements. Week after we did his episode, we had around 80 students looking into new placements. So it's a really effective way of delivering that message. So 80 inquiries about work placements by week 4, increased engagement in extracurricular research opportunities. And one of the big things that struck me was there was always kind of nuggets of information when we had students engaging with professional service staff. When we'd get an email back and say, our student just came to me and said, they saw me on this episode and didn't realise this is what I did. And one of those ones was, I didn't realise the student advice centre could help with housing issues. Which we think, we take the assumption that people just know. And the reality is, maybe they don't. So I think I'm coming very close on to going over my time, so thank you for listening. Engage me on Twitter or drop me an email.
I was worried at one point it was about to turn up.
You were all right.
I didn't have enough time to watch me slowly go around the track. So, any quick questions from...
Hi, Chris. I can see a lot of what you've done really connects with science students, games community. Do you have any advice for how the techniques that you've embraced could be used for different types of subjects? So, for example, arts or social science or...
So, we did start a conversation with some colleagues in sports science about doing an equivalent of Star MBR or something similar to that. I mean, these episodes were designed to... Yes, you're using cool bits of tech. Yes, it's a nice simulator. Yes, motion simulator. But it's ultimately what we did was we saw Star Reason Price Car from Top Gear. We wholesale copied that format and applied it. So I think that kind of transcends a little bit. The live stream is a tricky one. So again, I gave a presentation on this on ALD ALT conference, and they were saying again, it was something around nursing. How do I use it as nursing? You know, well, the reality is they are still probably watching Twitch streams. Twitch streams are not kind of it's not a genre that is exclusive to computer scientists or games computing students. It is just the fastest growing form of entertainment media. If you look at the amount of bandwidth it takes on the internet, it's a major part of it. You know, even Amazon invested in this and all of that. Games just irrelevant. Games literally just a hook to carry a conversation. The important part is a conversation. So I'd say, how is this apply elsewhere? Or just copy it wholesale. And at the moment, I'm talking with a couple of universities about trying these in, and they are in different departments. One's psychology, for example.
Maybe controversial. But I can see we can adopt a lot of the modern technology platforms for reaching out to our students. I wonder where we want to draw the line. I mean, it's not that we are currently encouraged by the institution, let's say, to actually explore other digital platforms that are more that are improved. But there is a reason for that, and there is obviously here. I can available is you were lucky so far. We know from other platforms, digital platforms, that have even been banned, which would have provided, and what I would have argued at that time, a perfect opportunity to actually reach out to students to get like really honest feedback. However, still they were entirely inappropriate for the purpose. And I wonder what your kind of critical reflection on this is, because I've also tried. We have a bit of a chat room. It's just open for kind of developer chats and so forth, which is brilliant. It engages students, but it's only ever so long. I only dare to do this in a relatively small community. The moment we reach out in these communities, I guess you do this 1 or 2 years in a big module, and you will be asked to shut it down.
So this has been promoted to the entire CSO world.
Yeah.
So 850 students.
Because you only need one incident when it's going to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's 2 things there. I think one, to some extent you have to try these things out to see how they work. And we did this as one. We never intended to do another. But it was literally just one update to talk about revalidation, all the rest of it. And at that time it was just against computing cohort. And it wasn't even the whole cohort suite, so the third is because it wasn't even happened. I think there's another problem which I think you kind of touched on but didn't expand on. There's also an invasiveness as well of, yes, it's good to go where people are, but sometimes you have to respect that as somebody else's space. You know, I think there's times that, don't get me wrong, I love watching a cooking show. I would be pissed off as hell if Edith Smith walked into my house and started telling me how to prepare roast dinner. There's actually, no, I love it. I'll be honest. Maybe. But I think that is a really hard line to draw. I think there is a really hard kind of what point you go about. I think a lot of that comes down to ultimately what your comfort level is as an educator, what you feel like you want to experiment with, and ultimately the response you get back from the students. If we had a bad experience, this is why we talk about the moderators, that there are other precautions that we take, and there are other things that we can do, like we could put everything in a queue and only approve messages. We didn't want to go down that route, we probably would have explored it if we had to. There are platforms I wouldn't go anywhere near. One of the big pushes in the learning technology area at the moment is using Snapchat. And yes, I see the advantage and things that platform carries, but it's not something I would feel comfortable venturing into that space. I think ultimately I could do this just on university systems. So there are university equivalents. I could live stream, for example, on Microsoft Streams. I could do that all encapsulated within that environment. Twitch is easier. People have Twitch accounts. People are used to engaging with that. And I think that's, again, the case of going to where people are. They don't have to. I mean, and this is something where I draw the line between going into the space rather than stepping into their house. They're not forced to watch my stream. If they want to consider watching PewDiePie or whatever, they can. They're not forced there. But I think all these things, I think this is the challenge with learning technology. We're talking, kind of touched on the AI panel as well. I think some of these stuff, you've got to try them to see what comes out of it, and is there any improvement, is there benefit? I mean, the other side of this is, what's the point? You know, for me, the Twitch streaming was not about augmenting my pedagogy. It wasn't all about augmenting my teaching. It was about creating a new channel for discussion, about having a Q&A, and it was the equivalent for me of going to the pub with students. Just doing it live on a game.
Thank you. We are out of time. Is it a very quick question?
I was just going to add to what Chris was saying, because I come to the stream sometimes to actually join in, and I think ultimately with the worries, there's always going to be concerns that people will do that. But I mean, with any public forum, there is always that minimal amount of risk, but always it's people who go to them. I mean, even with stuff like in university rooms and stuff like PolyV, people put silly things on that. But when you implement the upvoting system, because obviously the PolyV you can implement an upvoting bit, and often those just get shipped as one. Often the most engaged students, the majority of the student body will be followed by the most engaged students, rather than those small amounts which would be just trying to make a joke or something. And I think it's really important to just put it out the engaged students on board. From there, you can get to
I think that's ultimately, that kind of summarises the whole point of this is making all these things student-led, making them student-driven is ultimately what makes the difference. And ultimately, if you've got students who will drive, will push, this is why we have student moderators, this is why we have students in control of it. And the day that students tell me not to do this anymore, that's what we'll do.
Perfect place to finish. Well, thank you very much, Chris. Thank you for all the questions. Okay, so we have any time.